in the top right hand corner, where the blue Zerg is currently spawning. Make some noise for SOO. From Africa Freaks, as you can see. Here in the bottom left instead, from Kai Z Gaming. Alien from China makes a noise instead for time. And as I always do, I apologize up front because I'm gonna say the word time at least 100 times. Yeah, as you can hear from now. I do have an early pool incoming from 2. It's not necessarily something I was expecting from the get-go. But better safe than sorry. It's a best of 7, so super defensive builds like this. Not even super defensive, just defensive builds overall like this. It's not something you would expect immediately. You expect in a best of 7, in the first game at least, to kind of limit test, right? How greedy can I be? Especially in this particular matchup. But SOO never was a standard Zerg. Always had something different to say compared to his fellow Zerg players. One of the heaviest Roach style players out there for sure. Always had a different take on the meta and on how to approach the series whatsoever. 2 lanes going back into the main. It looks like SOO wants to stop as much scouting information as possible, but I'm just checking the natural timing. He pretty much knows what's up. He's gonna be taking his leave while SOO is spreading a couple links toward the bottom side of the map. Probably trying to take control of the watchtower, trying to check for any immediate threat by having control over here and seeing a good portion of the map. Early Medivacs, Hellions, you called it. Making its way in the middle to grant times a little bit more scouting information, but you see already the reactor being used to start producing as many Marines as possible on the side of time, with the second Rex already up, probably soon be swapping with this factory to start some key upgrades. Reactor Aliens gonna be in production from now on, but Steam we started the 30-minute mark by cutting some corners and having a later starport compared to usual. So trying to get some scout information, is gonna send you overload in, then send it back again. It was really aggressively spreading overloads through the map, which is honestly quite interesting. We don't see many Vikings opener as of late, so he's feeling safe with this. But you know, Viking openers are still a thing and they can still be nasty. Over here, SOO didn't take control of this watchtower, so has no idea about this, but in the end, just a couple aliens and a Reaper. It's everyday's business. So slowly getting to a healthy amount of workers, reaching over 50, 430 later. We're soon to see probably a billion nest come up as well. Here it is. On the other side time, finally gonna start is Medivac production, which again going to be super important to try and get a little bit of damage early on, Since time is not playing the most aggressive game, he's just waiting for a lot of stuff to be up. And now at the 5-minute mark, this 2-Rex play, he's just gonna go ahead and hit. Of course, we add the reactor swap in the between the factory and the Rex. So in the end, this is not gonna be a standard 2-1-1. Not gonna have the 60 Marines, we're gonna have slightly less. It's still gonna be pretty deadly, as you can see. SOO needs to play these a little bit more defensive. Not a lot of lings out there. The queens, of course, are still very good at defending against this. Not a lot of energy in them. Still a couple of transpieces are available. It needs a rise. +1/+1 immediately started by time, who's now trying to stop this archery from going up, and he will definitely get a cancel out of this. Actually started in the middle again, but this might be another cancel. SOO a little bit too eager at taking this. Is already going to lose 150 minerals. Time will not double it up. Banelings are in production. The Spire is halfway through for SOO. Oh, again, time trying to stop this archery from going up, and it's going to be another cancel. The drone goes down. And this 4th base out of SOO was stopped by quite a while. Only now he's sending a drone on the left side to try and get another 4th base. The Spire is almost finished. Time not really caring too much about possible counterplay on the side of SOO. Baneling speed also almost completed, but it's time for the Link to get us around. Widowmine will not get the connection of the Dreams, and in the end, time will go back home, lick his wounds, and be ready to strike again in a more hurtful position for SOO, since he's taking the 4th on another side right now, and mutas are starting to pop out of those decks. Believer chamber popped down as well by SOO, who's definitely gonna try to get those melee upgrades right now. Much needed. Honestly, actually a little bit late compared to what he should be having as of now. A lot of workers as well. Time definitely catching up. Oh, but this is a completely undefended mineral line. You can see workers going down full time. Very slow reaction on his defense. He's actually trying to get as aggressive as possible. Here's truth be told, this is definitely time style. Going all out on aggression over here in the middle. It's a lot of lanes and banelings. He needs to be extra careful. Meanwhile, back home, the mutas dealt quite some significant damage. They're gonna be flying back home to help with this defense. One of the Medivac spreads a little bit too not carefully in the middle of all those queens and will be sacrificed. Oh my god, a big surround is incoming by SOO. The Banelings are getting in position. Perfect play by SOO. The defense goes through and through, and there's not much over here to keep up the aggression on the side of the Terran player. More mutas incoming, +1 air attack. Almost completed as well. He's starting to saturate in his 4th base. And I wouldn't be surprised. There's an infestation pit pop down. And a hive be started. As fast as possible. Time still wants to keep up the aggression. By no means this game is approaching its end. Of course, are gonna be the answer from time to try and keep SOO honest with his mutas. SOO never really was a Lingbane muta player, but it's not surprising to see him play any style whatsoever. Super versatile player. In the end, he'll do anything to achieve victory. In his Lingbane muta style, it's looking mighty fine this game. Very decent position, he's finding himself in. 12 workers ahead, winning the main battle, stopping the aggression, and also snapping down the tank over here in the middle, losing almost 3 meters for his efforts. Actually, almost 4 meters for his effort. Maybe a little bit too much, but in the end, he has larva to spend, and these meters are definitely not gonna be low in numbers, since honestly, guess it's gonna be in pretty high numbers, considering this is mostly a Link army with Banelings being added to the mix. A little bit of splash damage, but the map control is of course done by the mutas. So that's a lot of Vespine that can be spent only into mutas. So you have SOO breaking down the rocks. He needs to be as agile as possible in the middle to react to his opponent, and having the possibility to collapse onto those bridges, of course. Super important once you have enough crit spread. And crit spread, nothing short of amazing for SOO in this game number 1. Infestation pit popping down right now. Almost completed. A hive will soon follow, with SOO double expanding to the left and right side, taking full control of his own alpha side of the map. +3/+3 incoming for time. Both players are kind of just posturing around each other, since that timing attack from time, it doesn't really look like any of those two players are deciding to delve too deeply into uncharted territories. Of course, these mutas gonna snipe down a couple workers, gonna try to snipe down a Vespine geyser, and they indeed do so after killing 5 workers. One of the towers was there for defense, so SOO will get away from there, losing an overseer actually. Nothing too big, but of course you're gonna need another one to try and snipe down the Widow Mines before they can deal too much damage. Over here in the middle of time, trying to make its way through the crypt tumors. But of course SOO will be there for defense really fast. Another scan gets popped down to try and kill as many tumors as possible. Over here you can see SOO trading very effectively into this, but that's a beautiful pre-spread from time. SOO falling head deep into the trap of time and losing honestly an outstanding amount of lanes without getting too much down. Ultra covered incoming, but time is biting back and is now pushing creep off his half of the map. The mutas desperately trying to find a way in, will be stopped by the towers. And all of a sudden this game is again anyone's to win, even after the damage that SOO was able to deal. Larva is a precious resource at this stage of the game, and having to spend so much of it into links back again, definitely not the best way possible. He's gonna try to get us to run over here. Oh my god, that Widowmine shot was kind of hilarious. So many lanes will lose their lives without getting anything done. Another round popping over here, but off creep, his links cannot fight as proficiently. Here comes a kill onto that command center, and then even a cancel onto the planetary command. Planetary fortress, sorry. Banelings getting forward, 21 SCVs being killed by the mutas. That is devastating damage, to be completely honest. Another Medivac goes down. We can just double check over here. Oh, wait a minute. Double check over here. SOO didn't lose too much. He only lost 6 mutas throughout the game. And killing 40 SCVs. God gracious. It's a lot of SCVs going down. The tank will be sniped over here. So will a sensor tower, most likely. Ooh, no kills on any mutas. In the end, SOO will be soon getting his key upgrades, +3 melee, kindness plating, and +3 flyer attacks. Nice, I got the tracking to stop these mutas from getting too much done. These are unupgraded ultras with +2, so they do fall down quite easily. SOO still adopting a hit and run style, trying to stop time from getting a strong economy. Kindness plating almost completed. That's not a lot for defense over here. The Banelings rolling through the doors. And in the end, it's gonna be quite an interesting trade. Soon knows he's ahead. He's gonna send Midazine back again. He's gonna get a kill onto the command center. And all of the Ultras stay alive. It's only Banelings being traded for Taurs, Marauders, and Marines. But of course, the command center falling down is the most important thing. Not a lot of mutas out there, but there's still gonna be +3 mutas shortly. They're gonna pack a punch, that's for sure. Anabolic synthesis. I don't know why I didn't spell the word correctly. About to be finished, and that's exactly when SOO decides to push with his Ultras off grid. Only to be trapped in the middle of a perfect concave. With 3 Widow Mines. Getting a very good spread of connections. And SOO will be back at replacing his lost links. Bank though, Bank is definitely in favor of the Zerg player. He's replacing his army as soon as he loses it. And time left stranding a little bit for defense, trying to move these stores around to keep up with the mutas. But now these are, as I was saying, +3 mutas, and it's definitely going to be a little bit harder to deal with them. No need to magic box over here on the left side. That's a lot of dead air space. 2000 atmospheres is just built different. Over here, SOO trying to collapse onto these 5th base, sorry. Just as his mutas are eating elsewhere, flying over some dangerous positions. They will try and go into sniping mentality, try to kill Medivac stores and whatever is left stranding. Time doesn't have a lot of resources to trade these poorly into the army of SOO, and even though the trade wasn't that great for any of those two players, in the end SOO will come out right on top with this crazy good production and bank. 38 more links and 4 ultras, and he's maxed out again with 2.5k in the gas bank and 4k in the mineral bank. 20 banelings popping down, quick spread, absolutely crazy good. And time trying his best to keep up with his opponent. This game is not over yet. 1 bad engagement and SOO might find himself short of a couple of his mining bases. Time is waiting for the right moment to bite back, waiting for a mistake to come on the side of the Zerg player, who is now hitting in a completely undefended location. The mutas are hitting on top of the SCVs. Lots of production being under threat. This planetary fortress, will it keep up? Definitely not. The planetary fortress goes down. The banelings rolling into a choke point. And so, the choke point stands true. Tons of marauders falling down. The ultras killing one of the Taurs. And now, running away back and creep. 13 SCVs going down. And that's a lot of army that time is slowly trying to replace. Not a good income, not a good bank. And SOO, death by 1,000 cuts is being inflicted onto his opponent. Time trying to strike over here on the left side, trying to take control of these rich Vespine geyser. But SOO will adopt this opportunity to strike at a little bit of this production. 3 Rex with tech labs will go down. That's production is not easy to replace for time. Actually moving his staff back in and trying to go for a base trade. Trying to kill as much as possible while SOO delves deeply into this natural with ultras fighting over here. Here comes the rest of the army of SOO. Banelings rolling into the mist of the army of time. In the end, the Terran player will get a pretty decent engagement, but this is army that you cannot replace. And now that the queens are over here fighting against the Thors, the mutas trying to snipe down the Medivacs, the Ultras winning the battle in the natural of time, GG gets gold. And this is gonna be a SOO victory in game number 1. So incredibly amazing to have these insane players back into business and already performing at the highest possible level. You're talking about time over here, and SOO made him look like the new guy around in game number 1, to be honest. Keeping it up, whole different question though. Can he do that? Best of 7s go the long way, and oftentimes the adaptive player is the one that comes out on top. Let's see who adapts first to the needs of the series. But for now we had Hachka's pool from SOO. We didn't see the 16 defensive pool that we had in the first game. So realizes that time probably doesn't want to play that much aggressive from the get-go. Gonna mine down the mineral. Ooh. These might come back to bite SOO in the back if he's not careful for it. Time just double checking the archery timing to make sure nothing crazy is incoming. And in the end, nothing crazy is incoming. Oh, stopping the third base is interesting. Oh, and so actually, oh, I thought he was going to get the other base on the right. So who's gonna win the fight? SCV comes out on top. About the first 2 lanes. Gonna get there and shoo it away. Actually, they're probably gonna get a kill. And come on, you can do it. There it is. Marine's being sent in the middle. There's one overload to catch those movements. There's also 2 lanes that are getting in the natural right now, and it's pretty undefended natural. Alright, 2 Marines popping out just about now for this defense time. Looking to try and stop this archery. What a weird game we're having already. Roach Warren being popped down by SOO, and he's honestly producing quite a lot of army. 3 drones incoming. Both players smelling blood in the air, being very proactive and trying to do as much as possible, especially time. Now Starport is popping down, but all of his units are just streamlined in the middle of the map. These are still slow lanes. They're not gonna be that great against aliens. I can tell you that for sure. Aliens trying to exploit these plays in the middle to get into the mineral lines of SOO. 10 roaches, that's definitely more roaches than you need for defense. SOO has something in mind, and he's definitely up to no good, but unluckily for him, time has the blind counter with the cloaked banshees being an absolute nightmare to deal with just roaches. It's all down to micro, of course, because these roaches can still deal an outstanding amount of damage to the economy of time before the banshees can do anything. And back home, SOO might pop up those spore crawlers before the banshees can deal any significant damage. SOO already on the ramp. Here comes the first banshee, already eating at the roaches. So much can be said just about now. Will these Marines keep it up in the wall? Will the Banshee defend this properly? The wall goes down, and SOO is walking up the ramp. There's not a lot in the way of defense. There's not a tank. There's no widow mines. On the other side of the map, the aliens are trying to get as many drones as possible. Queens and lanes trying to get us around, but this single Banshee absolutely annihilating. Oh, actually, why did he stop attacking? Oh no! Roaches in the middle line and they will not fall down easily. GG gets gold. Time loses all army. And SOO gets game number 2. Why did that Banshee stop attacking? No! Oh boy. Want to keep a very close eye to the early games of these two players. Since after what we've seen on Berlingrad, I'm kind of expecting anything. That game was looking like a battle royale with, honestly, from the minute like 340 there was fighting happening all over the place at any given time. And I was talking about that mineral wall that could have probably bitten SOO in the back. In the end, it was time. They just shortened the rush distance for those roaches to hit him just when he was the weakest. Now he's gonna try and not make that mistake again with an SCV. Going to go ahead and keep a proper scouting pattern this time, maybe. I'm trying to catch any of those weird movements that SOO might be making. Check the quick spread, and he knows this is a standard timing hatchery. Hatch gas pool, nothing to be afraid of. Another drone is going into the third base. SOO being the newest player to come out of the military is not gonna be one of those players who's gonna, one of the Zerg, sorry, who's gonna try and adapt into the Clash opener style. Reapers and circling stancing, as happens. Cryptimer goes down, and now this Reaper is just out there to keep up with the scouting. See the third base timing, and now time knows exactly that this is a perfectly standard opener on his own side of the map. He had a command center go down before the starport, so being a little bit greedy. Oh, since we had a couple problems, a couple issues, it is a replay cast, guys, so I'm sorry for that. As you might have seen on Twitter, we had a couple problems, but still. Series was played like 2 hours ago, I think. But anyhow, it is a Viking opener this time for time, and I was saying before in game number 1 how SOO was being a little bit overzealous with his overload spread, and how that might be definitely hurtful for him. Still, this is an early lair, and I'm not quite sure why SOO decided to go for such an early lair. Things will try to get some scouting information, will be stopped. A Liberator will soon follow the Viking. Very old school opener from time, with a very greedy command center going up very soon, and with a lot of air control with Vikings and Liberators popping up in the sky. They're almost completed. Time will pop down. Ooh, that's why. It's a lot of spread of Marines over here. This overload is still well hidden. This is hardwire after all, so. Huh. The 2 Marines are not gonna be enough to kill the Nidus Worm. As you can see, like, overloads are getting snapped left and right. Over here, Lean's trying to go into the middle of nowhere. Honestly, a little bit too risky of a play from SOO. Will be caught out in the open by these aliens trying to get us around on the side blockers over here. The 2 Marines doing their best, but time knows they're not gonna be enough to stop this. There's already 1 tank popping out, and it will soon go into siege mode. Next to this Nidus Worm spreading a little bit too uncarefully in the middle of the mineral lines. Now the Queens are out, the Crypt Tumor was popped down, and SOO is at the same time hitting in the natural. This doesn't look like SOO might be able to close the game right here, right now, because of the Liberator and the tank. But 9 workers are going down, other queens are hitting on top of the production in the natural. SOO still dealing outstanding amounts of damage. It looks like he will retreat for the time being. Probably to send more units into the Night Swarm. There's no willingness with this. The queens are marching forward. They will get on top of the Liberator. So many workers falling down for time. SOO doesn't have a lot of workers himself, but he's still on the 15 mark. And now the production of time is under serious attack. I honestly don't know what to expect out of this. Time is not looking in the greatest of positions. This Rex is gonna try and fly away for its life, but it will not survive. The tank still eating on top of those queens, still getting a lot of kills. But in the end, time very much pinned into that little bit of a corner where that single tank is hiding. The queens are needlessly losing their health over here. Reactor is gonna burn down, and there's one less add-on with this defense. It looks like SOO is still keeping the throttle on, still producing army, not really resetting into drone production after dealing that much damage, and time will actually deal with this quite properly, trapping one of those queens out there before he could retreat back into the worm. In the end, time is gonna be 10 workers behind. A little bit of tech loss, but it still has 3 bases. And it's a Terran on 3 orbital commands. It's definitely not gonna hurt much from losing those workers. And SOO might be having a lot of army that it cannot really use. Especially with Roach Warren popping up, he's gonna be severely behind in tech. Once time gets the pieces of the puzzle he needs, and time is actually biting back. Now with a drop, getting over here, not completely unscouted, flying over some quick tumors. It's not much in the way of defense over here. Roaches and Ravagers, they're enough. Never mind. So stopping this base from going down again. And honestly, that's a good follow-up. Time not able to deal damage, with SOO having a perfect defense. Then stopping on the right side the orbital command going down for a little while longer is definitely a decent follow-up. Overlord's being sniped over here on the right side. SOO already took care of that by making 7 overlords earlier on. Lots and lots of Ravagers popping up. And again, SOO might be looking to play a little bit more aggressive than usual, having his heavily inflated army. He could also cut some corners and get to the late game stages as fast as possible, but that's a very tough decision to make, actually. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised to see SOO actually play a little bit more laid back for the time being. Getting to the 80 workers mark, which is dangerously close to, and yes, that's what I wanted to see out of him. Infestation pit going down, having a safe transition into Archers, Vipers, or maybe even Lurkers at the ready before trading his army very aggressively. You don't want to have that kind of army for too much, or the Terran player might just overwhelm you with his production against your definitely supply inflated army. Marines fighting back on top of a lot of lanes over here. The Ravager piles gonna be dodged by the Medivacs. Time will leave to fight another day. Once more, guys, this is a replay cast, it's not live, but the games were played just a couple hours ago due to some issues we had with scheduling. Players had a couple problems as well, so I'm gonna cast these series from replays. Still, no one has seen this series but me. And I'm watching it right now with you guys, so you get it. Hive halfway through, SOO in a very decent spot, already building up a little bit of a bank, trying to have that safe transition I was talking about. That is going to be absolutely mandatory, because the Army of Time is heavily made of bio units. And with Widow Mines and tanks being added into the mix, it's going to be extremely complicated to trade with just Roaches and Ravagers and a couple Lings and Banes. So resetting into melee upgrades as well, having +1 missile just for these early fights. Well, early. Not really early, but yeah. Melee attack almost finished. Infantry weapon 2 and infantry armor 2. This is a kill, not a cancel, by the way. Time honestly recovered from those early losses in quite meaningful way. Oh no, oh no, oh no! That's an oopsie. I'm going back over here on top of this 5th base. He's gonna be greeted by a couple queens hitting on top of the Medivac. There's not enough creep. The queens will not get there soon enough. What's in the Nidus? What's in the Nidus? Nothing. Well, a couple links now. Is there enough back home for time to kill it before it pops up? Yes, it is. There's an Overseer in siege mode over here on the right side, and time might be very angry at it. 60 links popping up, adrenaline glands, and +2 melee incoming. The Ultra Cavern is down, +3 armor just starting, and now it's Viper's time. SOO getting the transition I was talking about at the ready. And now time is up for some serious aggressive stuff. Otherwise the Zerg player might overwhelm him again, just like he did in game number 1. Here, it'll be the platoon of bio trying to get some damage done. Widow Mines being spread left and right as well. But most importantly, on the left side, time is stopping the advance of quick tumors. His tanks being spread in a very good position will force SOO to play a little bit more laid back on the left side. And on the right side, time striking yet again. Some serious aggressive play. As a Widow Mine ready to fire a big shot. It will not be a big one. Oh, a building will unnecessarily die to heal that Widow Mine. But over here on the left side, time ready to strike again. It looks like SOO is not really spreading his army properly. But he's still so much richer than his opponent. It really doesn't matter too much. Finally, we see some ghost action. This Overseer will fall for no reason at all. Over here on the left side, the Army of Time is stranded. It will collect a little bit of it before losing it all. Over here on the right side, this is not stranded at all. Or is it though? Oh, the Medivac will barely survive. Fly away. Oh my goodness. A Spire transition incoming out of SOO. Still kind of unable to trade these Ravagers in any meaningful way. Still lots of paintings, lots of links on the ground, and these Vipers are full of energy. It's gonna be extremely complicated for time to attack into this kind of army. Especially with it being so replaceable. How much larva? Like 26 is available to SOO right now. It's basically impossible for time to trade into this unless he gets like a trade like 50 supply for 10. SOO still needs to be careful. Widow Mines can be very nasty. Ooh. Yikes. Like, Let's call it a caster curse, because I don't know what to say. That one with my shot might have bought time like 20 more seconds for this defense. Now he's perfectly placed. Everything he needs to deal with this. Another Widowman shot's not as good as the other one, but in the end, gonna stop SOO for a little while longer. Here on the left side, no run by will happen. 3 infestors incoming to replace that lost supply. Which is honestly quite interesting too. Deeply walking onto Sensor Tower territory. So many ghosts sniping left and right. It's a complete disaster. 4 Ravagers and 2 Ultras will be absolutely obliterated in exchange for 6 SCVs. And at this stage in the game, I wouldn't necessarily call this good for SOO. Actually, I think it's quite terrible for him. Still, look at that bank. +1 flyer attack incoming. What's gonna be the air choice out of SOO? Max out again out of links that are just spreading into the middle of a tank siege location. SOO just a little bit too eager to trade his army, it seems. In the end, it will stop this base from happening yet again. He still has a lot of minerals and gas in the bank, but time has been honestly losing almost nothing. Ferocity bombs are gonna go on top of these medivacs as well as fungals to ensure as many of those go down as possible. And the 10 SCVs will indeed overall fall down. Here comes the Ghost with the snipes. The Billings trying to march forward. The fungal going down. What a disaster for time. After a couple perfect fights, he's gonna lose 11 Ghosts. Oh my goodness. That's enough Vespene gas to feed a whole army. My goodness. Fungal and Billings, they don't mess around. SOO finds the damage he was looking for, but he still doesn't have the strong of a transition at the ready. And as you can see, he hurts a lot. Time over here with the Vespene bank he was building up. But still, there still is a little bit of a bank in Vespene gas for the Terran player. Not as strong as the one of the Zerg, but it is there. 3 more Ultras, 3 more Infestors, and 20 Billings incoming for the Zerg player. Trying to mess around a little bit more, hitting over here on the right side. The planetary will be absolutely annihilated by Billings that are now running into the mineral line. More and more SCVs are gonna be sacrificed to the greater good by time, who's now sending his ghosts back in. Here comes the snipes. No ghosts will lose their lives this time again. Over here on the left side, Marauder spreading into the middle of nowhere. It's not gonna be a lot in the way of defense, to be honest, but still enough. SOO comes out on top on yet another engagement. Amazing to see this Zerg player coming back into business with such an incredible grasp of late game. And honestly, time, a couple too many mistakes here and there in his army control. Sensor tower over here is probably gonna be sniped, as well as a couple more SCVs. This tank over here is not in the greatest of spots. It's so many ghosts though. How many is it? Oh my god. 18 go. Oh no. Infestors, they're looking for another fungal. Burrow is available, so SOO might just have those burrow. That might be much better than being so vulnerable to Shockwave EMP. Well, not Shockwave, just EMP. And you might recall a couple of years ago, Infestors got on a diet. They're smaller now, but that means that EMP hurts them harder since you can hit more of them at the same time. Balin's trying to get on top of these ghosts, but no single Baling will connect on any single ghost. His knights going left and right. The Widowmine's positioning was perfect. And this instance is where time is gonna bite back SOO extremely hard. This was nothing short of a disaster for SOO, losing basically all of his front army without getting anything done. Amazing performance so far from the Blue Zerg. The one little mistake could come back to hurt him a lot if these ghosts keep on getting these free trades onto Widowmines and tanks. Those need to be extra careful. They want to try and strike at his hatchery. Their DPS is not the highest. They will be waiting for the Marauders to come to the rescue. Marauders can steam, and they will. To kill this archery as fast as possible. 52 Marines incoming. SOO wants to strike on the right side again. Over here, Ravager Balls raining from the sky, hitting on top of the Liberator, but this Liberator is still getting so many kills. Here comes the Ghost, and here goes the Knives. Or not. In the middle, funnel lanes will stop time from getting too much done after killing the one archery. SOO will bite back over here on the right side, but the orbital stays alive. Cannot say the same about that one Vespin Geyser, but yeah. Flyer attacks 2 completed, and we've yet to see a single flying unit out of SOO. A little bit afraid to reach into air all of a sudden, especially with so many ghosts being on the field. He wants to train into ghosts a little bit more. Shockwave EMP is in the research tab on the top left, as you can see. SOO doesn't manage to find another engagement. Oh, this game is going the distance, lads. Finally, Greater Spire. Bloodlords still incredibly vulnerable to ghosts. In the end, SOO needs to get something done. He needs a transition. His army right now is just not cutting it. He's building up a bank, yes, but he's also losing a lot of Bespin gas. As you can see, 8 Corruptors in the making. Those Corruptors can definitely deal with Medivacs and Liberators, but that's it. It's really not like time is going that deep into Liberators. It's just having a couple at a time. Here he comes. These ghosts are gonna be even more upgraded over here on the left side. Oh wow, Widowmines. Oh my goodness. SOO will find himself for the first time in this whole series behind its supply. That is quite significant. How will he replace this supply? That's the real question. Tons and tons of minerals at the ready. 8 Broodlords incoming. Again, Widowmines, not Widowmines, sorry, Banelings will explode over something a little bit too eagerly, causing for a much unnecessary loss of Vespin. And now SOO lost the whole of his bank. He can still trade links very aggressively. He can still pop down spine crawlers and spore crawlers wherever he needs them. But in the end, this is the stage of the game in which defending bases is more important than actually killing army. Four command center popped down by time for some reason. Orbitals are good, but they're not that good, guys. Like, I think time like as how many command centers does he have? Oh, I thought he had more. I actually thought he had more. Alright. That makes a little bit more sense. Like planetary being spread around, as well as a lot of orbitals being needed. This can pretty much at will. It's time for the Broodlords to make their way in the middle towards the Raptor as well as Ghost, and you can see these Broodlords actually taking quite the punch in the face. Comes the Ghost. Can they get the snipes? They cannot spread that deep into uncharted territories. Smart servers almost finished as well to ensure these stores can switch modes a little bit faster. It's the most important thing, the snipes! Oh, good gracious. 40 supply worth of Broodlords falls down in the Berlin Common Eye. And those Broodlords are gonna be very tough to replace by SOO. 10 Corruptors incoming, they're gonna be Broodlords very soon for sure. But yeah, these ghosts still being alive, they're just so impossibly hard to deal with for SOO. Both players insanely proficient at the late game scenarios, but I want to see a little bit more Viper action out of SOO. SOO not really the strongest spellcaster controller in the history of SC2. Another 2 Broodlords will fall down unnecessarily, but 10 more are incoming. Here comes the first nuke of the game. Yeah, it feels like SOO knows what is up. Oh, you're still gonna lose 1 queen though. Really? Oh no, it was out of range. Just barely, but it was out of range. Broodlords coming for the flank. The Infestors staying very close to them. The Ghosts are getting very close to the Broodlords though. See, the scan was not there in time for a million snipes to go down at the same time. Fusion Core incoming for time to try and maybe advance into a couple cruisers with Yamato Cannon. He's on the right side, will again be killed by time. And how the tables have turned, lads. Because in this moment, it is time to be the player holding to a strong bank. But his opponent is slowly trying to build it up. Couple tanks will be sniped down by the Broodlords, but the Ghosts are getting closer, and so are the Tors. Liberators being put in position as well to try and deal with these Broodlords. Here comes the siege mode. Liberation is at hand. And those queens need to step out. So do the Infestors. Those marching on creep. Killing these Spurkers, honestly, faster than I was expecting. We're trying to get closer to the Broodlords to pop down the snipes. And they need to be extra careful. 2 SCVs died somewhere. I don't know where. Probably here. Probably. Time is trying to take this base on the left side. I'm unsure why these Broodlords might be getting a couple kills. Oh my god! Oh, Fungal goes down. So do the AMP in the end. Fungal doesn't last long enough. There's not enough energy on these Infestors to drop another. And these girls will be hidden and will be sniping down stuff. Words stopped on my throat for a second. I was on the edge of my seat. But that Infestor versus Ghost interaction. Sniping, nuking coming over here in the middle. So we'll spot the red dot and we'll move out of there. But this is even more Cryptumers being killed, and so slowly but steadily losing terrain and having to withdraw into another position. Ghost flanking over here, dropping 2 snipes and killing 2 Infestors. 2 shots, 2 kills for that one guy. He's now on 20 as well. What a goose. In the end, Broodlords will finally put an end to the life of the one hero ghost. And it's not looking the brightest for SOO, to be completely honest with you lads. Yes, he now has again 5k gas in the bank. But can he buy time back? That's a real question. Another nuke is going down. Where is it going down? Where's the nuke? Oh, it was immediately stopped. Ah, alright. Overseers sieging up to see where the ghosts are. This one missile turret, will he be able to kill the Overseer? No, it won't. So close, but yet so far the Broodlords are marching forward. The Infestors are in position to drop down the fungal and stop these ghosts from getting sniped, from getting the much needed cloak to save themselves from the Broodlords. Another fungal goes up. Is there another fungal available? No, there isn't. On the right side, 14 SCVs were killed. Now the Broodlords are trying to trade into the ghosts, and they're doing exactly so. A head-on trade. And now the rest of the army of SOO was getting into position. In the end, it does feel like SOO did come out on top. He has a bigger bank. He traded into the most important unit of Time. And Time lost a lot of ground, both on the left side and on the right side. Infestors and Corruptors bulking up the numbers of the third player. Both players on an insane bank. This is getting close to what I like to call the unlosable position for the third player. It will require a serious micro mistake out of SOO to lose as many key units as Time needs to kill to win the game. And now the spores are being spread around in a forest pattern. It's gonna be extremely hard for the ghosts as well to walk through uncharted territories and try to drop down a couple nukes. 11 spores being popped down, 6 Broodlords incoming. Oh, it wasn't 11, it was 1, right? Yeah, oh, whatever. I guess. The last 2 flyer armor. It's not gonna do anything against the Ghost Knights, but there's not a lot of ghosts in the army of Time right now. It's mostly Liberators. SOO at 211 supply? Yo! That's a lot of cancels. Oh yeah, there was 11 Spore Crawlers and he cancelled them all, right? Yeah, this is a strong Zerg army. Make no mistake, Broodlords going on top of these planetary on the left side. Missile turrets falling one after the other. And in the end, it looks like the Taurs are going to be the last line of defense here on the right side, trying to go for a surround. Time, trying to send his army in. Liberators being leapfrogged forward and forward to try and deal with the ground army of SOO. There's so many Painlings in this army. The Broodlords are almost free. They can kill the planetary, and they will turn onto the Taurs, getting a free kill here on the right side. There's still a lot of ghosts in that army that can drop down a lot of snipes whenever they are needed. Here comes the full might of the Zerg. Will the Painlings get on top of the ghosts? No, they won't, but so many Taurs are falling at once. Now the Taurs are trying to bite back. 22 SCVs were killed by SOO. I mean, both players are back, licking their wounds. Time losing all of his resources, not mining from anywhere, but so is SOO. Both players on such a low eco scenario, and at this stage into the game it's so complicated to acknowledge how much your opponent has in the bank. It's starting to become a mental game. Time not really replacing his army as fast as SOO, especially with Painlings and Lings still being an incredibly scary addition. This late in the game, Adrenaline Glands Lings are probably one of the most cost-efficient units in the game. Liberators being leapfrogged forward to try and get on top of the Queens. There's no Vipers with this army, but there's still Infestors on the ground. Broodlords are getting close to these doors. They're gonna get a free kill. Here comes the Knights. They're all going on top of one single Broodlord. And Infestors are gonna do their best to drop down the fungal. Most Infestors were dropping down in energy. Oh, another Broodlord goes down. Actually, there's only 2 Broodlords with the army of SOO all of a sudden. There's so many Bins. Here goes the Corruptors on top of the Liberators. The rest of the army of SOO streaming through the middle. The Windowmines doing their best to keep these Banelings honest. There's still so many of them. All of the Liberators going down. The Banelings trying to collapse on the left side. Trying to wait for the right moment to strike. So many doors are down over here in the middle. And SOO suiciding so many Banelings. There's still so many more incoming. The Zerg are numberless. But time holds dear to his life. Does he though? I don't even know. I think he does. Time takes game number 3 of the series. Again, no 16 pool. Curious Minds is actually a decent proxy map. Not the biggest of maps. But it can make up for some sneaky locations due to how many side blockers there are. SOO is looking actively with his overlords for proxies that are not gonna happen. Time is playing a perfectly standard macro game in this first minute. Does this mean anything? No, it doesn't. This game could get crazy like in 20 seconds from now, but you get what I mean. Standard opener on both sides. Ashcast pool, Reaper expand. Time will send his Reaper in. There will be a dance with the Lings. There's gonna be some scouting information. SOO actually going with a interesting pattern. Not sending any overload onto the pillar. Sending one straight in the back. Maybe looking for a scout earlier on into the main base of Time, since he pulled out some interesting stuff so far, like early third command center or stuff such as that. Is drone over here hiding before being turned into an archery over here on the third base. This could also actually be another. Let me check something. Huh. Is this another Nidus play? I think it is, right? Why would you take drones off of gas? Okay. This is a late metabolic boost. Well, it appears like SOO just forgot. Never mind. He just forgot to start metabolic boost. I guess. Yes, definitely not an Nidus play. You can't go with an Nidus play. Oh, wow! Whoa! What is going on here? Yeah, this is not a Nidus play because this is a weird Roach Warren. It might look like a defensive one, but well, it might also be actually. Queens over here trying to stop this Reaper from getting too much scouting information. Vikings being started by Time, because as I was saying before, SOO is being a little bit too happy with his overloads. So there might be a Viking sniping down them like 8 roaches? Huh. 10 roaches. Oh. Oh. What is going on here? What is going on here? 16 links. What is going on here? Rally straight into the natural of Time. Yikes. This is gonna be nasty. Time starting off a Liberator for defense. So going for the rush timing. Well, rush timing. Rush all lane once more. And in the end, yes, this wasn't a defensive rush warren at all. There's not much in the way of defense over here. There's no medivac. There's no liberator yet. There's no tank. There's no cyclone. There's nothing. The liberator pots down just about now, but Ravagers are just a natural counter. GG gets gold. SOO is at match point. Here we are on the right side of Blackbird. The Red Terran is currently spawning, playing for KaiZ Gaming. Makes a noise for time. He needs all your support. And here on the left side instead, playing for Afrika Freaks, currently at match point. He only needs one out of the next 3 kings to call it a victory. It's SOO. Amazing, amazing performance today from the Xur player. Outstanding comeback into the scene for one of the most loved players ever to come back and start winning series from the get-go. It's actually amazing. I've seen him play against Bjorn and get a 2-0 victory in a best of 3. King of Battles qualifiers. Of course, guys, if you didn't already, make sure to check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/alphaxsc2. Tons and tons of King of Battles games. I'm sure you grasped most of it, but it was an amazing tournament. It's all gonna be recorded on our YouTube, so make sure to check those games up. Tons of beautiful series gonna be available for you throughout the next few days. Ashka's pool, Reaper expand. Back to basics on both sides. But as we've seen throughout this series, this doesn't mean too much. SOO was definitely uber aggressive twice with Ashka's pool. Timing attacks and all lanes. Can't wait until the early game is completed before shining through. We're getting into mineral line a little bit too quick, honestly. But yeah, let's just stand at almost a snipe. Oh, the Reaper would get 1 kill. But he will most likely not get a Crypt Tumor, and that is the most important thing. Actually getting a second link doesn't matter most of the times. Ooh, whoa, 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 whoa. Early second command center once more from time. Going for a little bit of a repeat of, I think it was game 3 went for the, yes, I think it was game 3. Went for the earlier command center. That game started with a Nidus. Let's not forget about that. And that third command center really kept time in the game. Blackburn is a very good map for Nidus as well, because of the main base being absolutely humongous. Lanes are gonna be sent after the Reaper to stop it from scouting anymore and stop it from killing Crypt Tumors. I don't think he got a kill on a Crypt Tumor. No, he didn't. Doesn't look like SOO is playing another uber aggressive game this time. Just gonna check the gas. I think this is pretty normal. You want to pop down a layer very soon. There's nothing weird with that. We don't see a second gas being taken before time is due. It does look like SOO is not being as aggressive as it was before. Yeah, second guys have been taken only now. It's looking fairly normal. These orders are actually flying back home, with SOO becoming aware of time lacking to get the Viking out in the early stages. So SOO trying to keep his overlords as close as possible to his quick spread to keep them alive. Bailey Nest popping out to finish exactly when the lair is finished as well, to start that Bailey speed immediately after the lair is completed. On the other side of the map, double NGB, double Rex for a 3-1-1. Complete production. You can get more standard than this, and I think it is a first in this series actually. Maybe game 1 was actually pretty standard, and SOO going back to a similar build to the game number 1 build, with a Spire play on Lean Bane on the ground. Of course it's going to be a Lean Bane Muta, getting a couple more lanes to deal with the aliens now that he's spreading his business a little bit more thin. Liberator over here, gonna be a little bit of a nuisance, not much more though. Means getting into position to deal with it, and Liberator will just fly back into safety. Oh, you've seen the Vikings over here. Beautiful. I love these maps. Blackburn is definitely going to be one of those maps I'm going to miss. Just like Year Zero. What was the Golden Wall? Well, I don't really miss Golden Wall, but yeah. There was another map, Stasis I think it was called, with a similar layout. I remember having a lot of success on that map. I used to really love it. Even though it wasn't a really good Zerg map. I really remember it fondly. Over here, very scary dropping coming from time. He's probably gonna see those mutas pop out in a very nasty spot. Sniping down a Vespin Geyser might be actually very good for time. He's almost going to lose one of those medivacs, and he's actually going to lose it once the mutas pop out. Not a lot of scouting information, but over here on the left side, the aliens are actually getting crazy kills. I don't know how I missed this, but 13 drones falling down to the aliens. 10 drones in the making. It looks like SOO is actually poised into action right now. That's not all of mutas out, but he needs to strike immediately. He needs to snipe at least something, but one missile turret is already up over here. Looks like those mutas are looking for an add-on, but they will fail to kill it. And SOO doesn't manage to strike back. He's still on 67 workers, soon to be on 72. Still a very healthy amount, but that's a lot of larva that will not be spent into mutas. And as you can see, SOO on 500 gas, staking a lot of upgrades at the same time, because there's not really much more he can spend than minerals on. He needs more stuff on the ground. That's larva. That's never gonna become army. It's not like he needs a lot of army right now, because he killed a lot of those marines, but time is definitely looking forward to fight it on. Not a lot of banelings in the army soon, a lot of mutas, not very good upgrades. Time might actually deal significant damage right now. It's all down to micro, yes. But will the micro SOO be good enough over here in the middle? 2 tanks being spread, a pre-spread of marines is absolutely perfect. And you can see these lanes desperately trying to get something happen. Another pre-spread of marines, ensuring they do not die to a surround of banelings. The mutas are actually flying through the map in a little bit of a nasty spot over here. On the Golden, they might be sniping down some serious stuff over here. More and more mutas incoming, and it looks like time is forced to send part of his army back home. Rocks are being broken by SOO just when he needs it. It's going to be super duper important for him. Mutas are still sharking around, looking for damage. SOO handling the storm perfectly. In time, I feel like he probably could have done a little bit more. Crit spread, nothing short of amazing once more. Now the 10-minute mark, SOO is almost maxed out. With 86 workers, even after losing so many early on, even without actually dealing any significant damage, even without having a strong army for the largest part of the game, he's now in full control of the middle of the map. Crit spread in the middle, Mutas shocking for damage, and time pinned in a defensive position again. Lots of millions, lots of lanes. And they try and find us around. The Mutas flying over the tanks. The Banelings getting dream connections for SOO. This was an outstanding fight from the Zerg player. Most of the Mutas surviving, killing so many key units, and the tank count is completely reset just as SOO starts down his hive. Now on 5 bases, getting a 6th one. SOO, what can't you do, my man? What a series from this guy, now fully in control of this game, hitting on top of the production, killing his factory might be absolutely gigantic. No more Taurs, no more tanks, there's no key units in the Army of Time, it's just Bio, and Bio cannot fight against Banelings alone. I can, but can it really? Overload speed about to be completed. You can see these overseers really struggling to keep up with the Mutas for now. And here they go. Widowmines being spread around to try and deal with the Mutas. And as you can see, they're already getting some pretty good connections, forcing them out of that production alongside the missile turrets. 2 SCVs falling to the Mutas, flash damage as well. Changelings being sent out to get a good guess about the Army of Time. Ultra Carbon going down, Burrow being researched, soon to be Infestus probably with this army. And Adrenaline Glands, +2/+2. All the pieces of the puzzle are coming together for SOO, who's looking for another run by with his Mutas. That's a lot in the way of defense at this golden base. Time striking in the middle in a little bit of a choke point. These Banelings marching forward. They will get dream connections once more. Here comes another run from the lanes. The Banelings marching forward. They will try to dodge around the Widowmines. They will not do a great job at that. But this is still a much more favorable trade for SOO than it is for Time. Now we can even see Mutas fighting head-on against Marines. And again, SOO, he has 2k, almost 3k minerals in the bank actually. And he's still in a very good spot. He has stack on his side. He's getting all the pieces of the puzzle. He's replacing most of his last army with 7 more Mutas, 10 Banelings and 32 lanes. And he has an ultra transition already up and running, with kindness plating halfway through, +3/+3 halfway through as well for melee and carapace. And now SOO is looking poised to take even stronger control of this game without Taurs being that much of a nuisance. These Mutas can actually fight into missile turrets head-on, so he doesn't want to stretch it too thin though, and will keep his Mutas alive. But this control, he was able to ensure, make it so that his economy is absolutely outstanding right now, collecting almost double the Vespene gas that his opponent is collecting right now. And yet another surround with these links can happen in the middle, forcing Time to hunker down next to his 5th base. Once again, another surround incoming. The Banelings screaming through in the middle. This is a huge choke point. Beautiful 3 spread by Time, will ensure that most of his army stays alive. And finally Time gets a good trade for himself. His army isn't strong enough yet. Anabolic Synthesis incoming, aka Ultra's speed +3 flyer attack. And now with the first few Ultras hitting the field on a map such as Blackbird, It's gonna become harder and harder for Time to defend. Trying to take control of this base over here after failing to take control of the top side of the map. Actually, 2 out of the 4 games were roadshow lanes at the 5-minute mark, and SOO won with roadshow lanes, guys. So, yeah. No bane lanes onto SCVs for 2 games of the series. The other one was a 36-minute game that Time won with a perfect ghost control in the later stages of the game. And SOO marching in the middle over here. That's a lot of bane lanes with Time failing to take control of these bases over here. Bane lanes trying to get into a choke point. The spreads are not amazing with Ultras incoming for defense. That's a little bit too many bane lanes exploding at once. And that's never a good thing. Goes popping down the snipes onto the Ultras. And it's gonna be a half victory for Time. SOO will indeed still have a stronger economy. And it's gonna be easier for him to replace this lost army. Time on the other side, all of a sudden, 40 supply behind, he's getting liberated, he's getting ghosts, but he needs much more than that. Game number 1 was very similar to this one instead. Like almost a carbon copy, to be honest. And SOO ended up winning. And I do have a feel that SOO is in a very good position right now. +3 flyer attack, almost completed. That's a lot of Ultras hitting the field just now. Fully upgraded. Baneling still streaming through a choke point for the 10th time in this game. Tools and Liberators are gonna make it a little bit more complicated than before. Especially with these many ghosts being out. SOO doesn't have the luxury to just send Ultras into snipes. Oh, but here comes a little bit of a surround. The Banelings trying to march on top of ghosts before they can get those knights. The Widowmine connection though, that was something out of a dream. SOO trying to get on top of these ghosts before they can get the snipe. Can they get enough of them? It doesn't really look like it. The Mutas are getting on top of those ghosts in the end. The Planetary will barely stay alive. Time keeps it up, but 62 more lanes and 5 Ultras are in the making. SOO still with a 1.5k bank for gas, 1k in the minerals. Still looking mighty ahead. These ghosts are even walking onto creep. That's never where you want them. The lanes are trying to get on top of the ghosts. The one Medivac dies to the Widowmine shot. Oh no, friendly fire. There were 3 ghosts into that Medivac, and now Lane Ramba is gonna kill 14 SCVs. 48 more lanes incoming. There's so many Ultras, there's so much on the ground. Even this perfect Widowmine shot cannot do enough. The ghosts are trying to retreat, trying to pop down the snipes, but here comes the Mutas. GG gets gold, and it's SOO to be the winner of this Best of 7 series with a 4-1 victory over Time. What a splendid performance